Eels? Mountain herbs? Or a shrine maiden doll? Which one brings back holy power? And did a monster graffiti incident really get recorded in medieval government documents? If you've ever thought Yorishige is way too meta, this episode will finally make everything click. At least I think so. Welcome to Jas Anime Commentary. 皆さんこんにちは. Hey guys, I'm Jas, a Japanese anime fan. On this channel, I talk about the culture and history behind anime and share the feelings and little nuances that people in Japan just feel naturally. So fans around the world can feel them too. You guys ready? Let's get started. Today, we're looking at episode 10 of the Elusive Samurai, a perverted kid and disturbances of holy power. And here's a quick recap. To restore Yorishige's divine power, Takauji gets dragged into a series of bizarre tasks. Because of that, his retainers start thinking he's gotten into some questionable interests. But through these errands, Takauji also starts getting curious about the holy power of Suwa. Meanwhile, Takauji's younger brother Tadayoshi appears for the first time. Although the brothers seem close, Tadayoshi secretly fears the overwhelming darkness growing inside Takauji. By the end, Yorishige regains his power and clears up all the misunderstandings about Takauji in the most unhinged way possible. Let's start with the ingredients Yorishige sends Takauji to fetch. First up is eel, a local specialty in Suwa. Now, in Japan, it's considered a bit of a luxury food, and we traditionally eat it as a way to fight off summer fatigue. It's not something we eat every day, but more like a special treat. I wondered, do people eat eel outside Japan? And when I looked it up, apparently way more countries eat them than I expected. Really? Someone tell me if that's true. Anyway, people ate eel in this period, but the way Yorishige prepares it here, kabayaki, sweet soy glazed grilled eel fillet, did not exist yet. So yeah, he's probably using his future vision again. And speaking of Suwa, it looks like the area around Lake Suwa today is packed with eel restaurants. I'm definitely going someday. Now for the second ingredients, alpine leek, called mountain monk's garlic in Japanese. As the name suggests, it has a strong garlicky smell and grows in mountain regions like Suwa. Some say Buddhist monks ate it during harsh training in mountains to keep up their strength. But others say it was forbidden among them because it gave them too much energy and they would break the discipline. Honestly, if you ate this during training, your breath would be lethal. And there's a funny scene where Kojiro talks about Takauji like, he ate strange things to give him energy. This is actually important. Both eel and alpine leek are believed to boost vitality, meaning stamina and physical energy. And, well, other kinds of energy too. Yorishige, please! Next up is the Tengu graffiti scene. This episode really shows how this era was the last time divine power coexisted with human power. And one of the wildest examples is the idea that monsters appear in official documents. You're probably thinking, no way, but it absolutely is. In the anime, we see a Tengu's shadow on the wall, and right next to a sign that says no graffiti, they start scribbling. So what exactly is a Tengu? They're legendary creatures dressed like mountain monks, with red faces, long noses, and wings to fly around. There's a lot going on there. Anyway, the graffiti scene actually references a real record in the Azuma Kagami, the Kamakura period chronicle, likely compiled by people connected to the samurai government. In the entry for the year 1234, it says, around February, a Tengu appeared and wrote the characters Imada Kitarazu on 1,000 houses in a single night. It's kinda hilarious that they just decided it had to be a Tengu, probably because no human could do that. The anime uses this story, although the original doesn't have any no-doodling sign. In this scene, the Tengu writes two phrases. First one is, it's probably read Imada Kitarazu. It means something like unfinished or unresolved, but the Tengu is basically saying, no graffiti? Yeah, that feature ain't happening. I'm writing anyway. And the other one is Gyoi, a very formal way of saying understood. But the Tengu's tone here is like, okay, sure, got it, with zero intention of actually following the rule. Like, you clearly don't get it at all. So they're like, no graffiti, cool, I'm gonna write then. Oh, you put up a sign, guess I better respond, huh? It's the perfect way to show just how pretty and mischievous the Tengu is. I love it. Next, let's talk about that suspicious Yorishige moment. It's also supposed to highlight how important divine power was in medieval Japan. But Yorishige looks like a guy in an anonymous interview, with only his initials revealed. He says, the divine storm that sank the Mongolian army. Yeah, our prayers were definitely responsible for that. This line is actually referencing a real historical event when the Mongol Empire tried to invade Japan about 50 years before this scene's time period. The Mongol forces came by sea and Japan was really struggling. But then, at just the right moment, a storm hit and the Mongols ended up retreating. These storms were interpreted as the gods responding to the shrine's prayers, and many shrines began claiming it was our deity who caused it. Some of them even received official recognition from the government for their supposed effectiveness. For Japanese people, the invasion is basically a history class classic. So when Yorishige says that line, it feels like, oh, that reference, or having Yorishige say that is so cheeky. Now we have to talk about the Ashikaga brothers, Takauji and Tadayoshi. Tadayoshi was actually Takauji's real younger brother in history, and the two were very close. It's also true that Takauji excelled in warfare, while Tadayoshi was skilled in politics. In the anime, Tadayoshi is shown writing a document with his back turned. That little mark in the bottom left corner is the same as his actual signature. His surviving letters contain this exact shape. The attention to detail is insane. And then we get that drawing of Buddha from Takauji. At first, it looks almost divine, but around it, there's this enormous monster opening its mouth wide. Even Tadayoshi freezes in fear. He realizes that Takauji sees this holy figure as his prey, and that's when something clicked for me. The Buddhist figure Takauji draws is called Jizo Bosatsu and is believed to save people from the suffering of hell. But it is also known as the protector of children. Tokiyuki is a child, and here, the Jizo that's supposed to protect him is surrounded by a creature ready to devour it. Now remember Shokan in the previous episodes. He denied salvation at first, but in the end he bowed to Tokiyuki as his Buddha. Losing to Tokiyuki forced him to confront his own powerlessness, and that's exactly why he could finally accept salvation. But Takauji is the complete opposite. He doesn't deny the Buddha at all. He even praises it. Yet deep down, he sees it as prey. Other people's salvation, peace, and mercy, including Tokiyuki's, are nothing but fuel for his own desire. He consumes others. The scale of evil between them is just on a different level. Historically, Takauji really did draw Buddhist images, and we even have surviving pieces that look surprisingly close to the anime version. Though, of course, without the monster. The way the anime expands on that is honestly very unique and brilliant. And finally, that symbol appears behind the two brothers. That's the Ashikaga family crest. A circle with two horizontal lines inside, and they're set to represent a pair of dragons rising to the heavens. It's a symbol of good fortune. It feels like the anime is showing two dragons preparing for the forthcoming war against Tokiyuki. A perfect visual metaphor for the Ashikaga brothers. And finally, let's talk about Suwa's winter tradition, Omiwatari, the God's Crossing. When Yorishige gets his divine power back and raises his hand over the lake, the ice rises and forms a long, sacred-looking path. This is actually a real phenomenon you can see at Lake Suwa. In the past, people believed it was the path a male god created while walking across the frozen lake to visit a female god on the other side. Records of the gods crossing go back nearly 600 years, and the people used the shape of the eyes to predict that year's fortune, weather patterns, or crop conditions. Today, we understand the science behind it. When the lake freezes in winter, the ice gets thicker. Then, the temperature difference between day and night causes the ice to expand and contract. With a loud cracking sound, a ridge of ice about 10 to 20 inches tall rises across the lake like a frozen mountain range. But recently, because of global warming, the gods crossing appears only once every few years. And here Yorishige says, holy power exists in a realm where human eyes cannot reach. This connects to the Tengu episode as well. In that era, people genuinely believed invisible forces like monsters and foresight. I've seen overseas viewers' comments like, isn't Yorishige a little too meta? I totally get it, but once you understand the worldview of the time, he actually feels like a perfect reflection of how people really thought back then. He's kinda annoying though. And when it tells Tokiyuki, the playground you stand will melt away one day. Play to your heart's content as the world is changing around you. I think it's a message from an adult to a child. Times will change, but the joy of your life is something you can discover, no matter the era. Even after Tokiyuki has lost everything, Yorishige gives him a new reason to live. He's such a precious character in this story. And actually, their names reflect that meaning too. First, Yorishige. The character Yori means to rely on, and Shige carries the sense of dignified or deeply weighted. It gives the nuance of a person deeply relied on or one who depends on divine power. On the other hand, Tokiyuki contains Toki, meaning time or the right moment, and Yuki meaning to go or to take action. So his name can be read as moving forward through a changing era. There's also a historical detail here. Men of the Hojo family mostly had Toki in their names, so it also hints at a rightful son of the Hojo clan moving with the times. They were real historical figures, so I imagine Matsui-sensei expanded on these meanings and turned that into such a beautiful episode. If you felt something special from this scene too, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And that's episode 10. It looked like a pure comedy, but this episode was surprisingly deep. Next time, we'll look at episode 11, Samurais Who Are Eager to Die, and An Elusive Samurai. Just from the title alone, you can tell something's about to go down. I'm already excited. If you had fun with this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And I'd love to hear from you. What scenes do you want me to explain, or are there other anime you'd like me to cover? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.